one, and your season's over.
Stetson is dressed in their road black uniforms at Central Arkansas in their home whites, and the tap is controlled by UCA. Cameron Hunter back in the lineup. They rested him on Saturday, and Stetson comes out in a 2-3 matchup zone.
And eBay Clintman is out of the starting lineup again for Central Arkansas. He's been dealing with illness.
Cooper lines up a three, halfway down, but out. Hunter offensive rebound, and the ASUN freshman of the year has our game's first points.
And with Clintman out, that means Cameron Hunter will be the point guard for Central Arkansas. Coach Boone said that he grew as a point guard in the win against North Alabama, said that his freshman is making junior to senior level decisions on the floor.
Christian Jones had a career-high 20 points in the first matchup this season, averages around 13 a night. Missed shot on the interior by the freshman, by the point guard, Stefan Swenson, a sophomore, I should say, from Belgium. And it goes back to the Hatters.
Darius Hall has missed a fair amount of action in the later portions of this season. He just stepped on the out-of-bounds line, wasn't pressured, just lost court awareness, and turns the ball over.
Swenson is the facilitator for this Stetson team. He's dished out 144 assists, second most in the conference. Johnston drops it off, fumbled by Jawara, and he misses the jam. Chatham gives it up. Hall, corner three, slides across the rim, and there's Jones to secure it for Stetson. They have numbers. Tumlin coasting in, and he'll throw it down. The assist, Johnston, and Stetson's on the board.
Well, Central Arkansas dodged a bullet on the previous possession as Jawara fumbled the pass and then muffed the dunk. But that's two straight possessions. UCA has allowed a Hatter to be all alone in the lane, and Tumlin, an all-freshman team nominee and now part of that team earlier today, he knocks it down.
Hunter lock and load. His three sputters off. So Stetson comes out in a matchup zone. UCA jacks up three quick threes. They miss them all. The Bears will have to knock down some perimeter shots tonight as Darius Hall comes away with some thievery. He's going to the rim, coast to coast. Sails in to give UCA an early lead.
Right, try to shoot from the outside. UCA has been doing that better as of late. But Darius Hall is best when he cuts to the rim, as he just did there.
Jawara loses his footing, and we have a foul called on Central Arkansas. Reaching in, they will call it on Cameron Hunter.
And Hunter, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, didn't have his best game against Stetson. He picked up 5 turnovers. He also picked up 4 personal fouls. He gets one early here.
Donnie Jones in his third season at the helm of this Stetson program. He was an assistant at Florida during their back-to-back national titles in 06 and 07. Johnston, prolific scorer, coasting in, throws up the runner. Soft touch to knot the score. Lead pass, Chatham caught the Hatters napping, got stripped on the way up. It's out of bounds. It stays on this end with the Bears.
UCA playing up-tempo, both teams playing an up-tempo style so far. The last time these teams met, 79-75 the final score, and honestly, to a lot of the prognosticators, that was low.
Stetson's had some high-scoring affairs this season. They hung 113 on Eastern Kentucky, their most in a game since 01. Miss from point-blank range. There's Kaialud to clean it up for UCA.
Eddie Kaialud had a big game the last time these teams met, 24.7 rebounds against the Hatters here at home.
We've played 3 minutes in this first stanza. Johnston, he was quiet in the first matchup, had his second lowest output of the season with 13. Hunting his shot, gives it up, and an offensive foul. Johnston should have kept it. First foul on Stetson, and their first turnover.
And if you followed Central Arkansas basketball at all this season, you know who was the recipient of the charge. It was Colin Cooper, the sophomore from Fayetteville, Arkansas. He is so sneaky, slipping into that lane and setting up to draw the contact.
Central Arkansas, they've been without 4 starters. 4 of their starting 5 have missed at least a game in the last week and a half. On the flip side, Stetson, they lost their leading scorer at semester, ruled academically ineligible. That was Rob Perry. And Josh Smith, who started at the 4 all season long, he got hurt in the first matchup against Central Arkansas and hasn't seen the floor since. Missed 3 from the top from Cooper, and it's out of bounds going back to Stetson. So Central Arkansas has missed their first 4 threes. They're 3 of 9 overall, shooting the basketball 33%.
But you figure they're going to keep trying. They're going to try to get, generally you want Colin Cooper to take the shot, but Kaialud has been red hot from 3 as of late. They need one of those two to start making some shots where it's going to be tough on the inside.
Tumlin against 2 defenders. Nestles it in. Chatham running the floor, trying to beat him back, and Jared lays it home.
And that's just experience from the graduate student Chatham. Alvin Tumlin celebrating a little bit after he got the lay-in, and he was manned up against Chatham, and Chatham just raced him down the floor.
Swinson probing. Leans in. Great body control. Puts it through over Chatham.
Swinson was huge for Stetson the last time these teams met. 20 points. That's unusual for him. He averages just 7 per contest. The 8 assists, however, we're used to seeing that out of him. One of the best point guards in the conference.
Skip pass. Hunter from the corner. And Central Arkansas is 0 for 5.
Against that compact zone, it's going to be tough sledding inside if you don't open it up with some shots from the perimeter.
Stetson, they've been pounding the ball inside. They're 4 of 6 here in the early action. We've already been tied 4 times. Run and jump on Johnston. Jones finding a crease. Gets in deep, and Stetson has made 5 of their first 7 shots.
Meanwhile, we've talked a lot about Stetson's zone. Central Arkansas is running a man-to-man, but when they come over to assist and double team, the Hatters have been very efficient at finding the open man.
Hunter attacks baseline. Long pass. Lock and load. Cooper fouled on a 3. The freshman Tumlin clobbered him on the closeout, and this will put Colin Cooper 76% marksman at the line for 3.
There's Cooper on the outside, and Tumlin just reckless jumping toward him. The 6'7" freshman makes loud contact. You could hear them both fall to the floor. No way the officials are going to miss that. And Cooper has had a knack for making 3 from the free throw line.
Cooper is nursing a sprained ankle, which he suffered against North Alabama a week ago. Only played 1 minute in that contest, and then against Lipscomb on Saturday, barely saw the floor. Played less than 20 minutes for UCA, averaging just a hair under 10 points per game.
And he has struggled as of late. He averaged double figures just about the entire season. Just here at the end has slipped under that 10-point margin. But he showed us what he can do when he's healthy and shooting straight. 17 points, 4 3-pointers on a Monday makeup game against Liberty on President's Day.
Hits 2 of 3 to tie the score at 10. Panzo tees for a 3. Swishes it in. That's number 31 on the season for Weza Panzo. He is the 3rd most threes on this Stetson club.
But James, those are the first points he scored against UCA all season. He was held scoreless in the regular season meet.
Hunter. Rebound Panzo. What do you think of the tempo here in the first 6 minutes of this one?
It's exciting. It's up pace as already Swinson's taking a shot. It's off the mark, and Chatham gets the rebound. There's not even time for me to tell you how fast it's moving because we've already got a shot on the other end.
Chatham at the top. Darius Hall. Stolen away by Swinson. They have numbers. Johnston trailing, and he's fouled on a 3. This puts Chase Johnston at the line to shoot 3 free throws. He's 82% from the foul line on the year.
That was a heads-up play from Chase Johnston, the sophomore, All-ASUN second team. He saw Darius Hall coming down the floor, and Hall likes to do this when he's behind a play. He lifts up his hands and comes by to just put some token pressure on you. Johnston's watched the tape. He saw that coming, and he leaned into Hall as he was putting those hands up to take a 3 right at the beginning of the possession. Caught Hall off guard.
Stetson by 4 after the first free throw. You look at what Chase Johnston has been up to. Second team all-conference, and he had a 38-point game against Liberty less than 2 weeks ago.
That's the most points a visiting player has ever scored in Liberty Arena. The reason I know that, of course, is because Darius McGee scored 39 that night the most any player has ever scored at Liberty.
He has 4 points here in this first half of action. Ebay Klintman is out on the floor for Central Arkansas. He's been battling an illness, did not get the start tonight. Third game in a row he's come off the bench as Kaialud has his second basket for Central Arkansas. Lead pass Jones, attacks, misses, rebound volleyed off the glass by Gatoretse, and here comes Colin Cooper.
Christian Jones had a big game for Stetson last time these teams met. 20 points, 7 boards.
Kaialud, spin move. Shot was flat, got it back, trying to fork it out to Olowokere. Masai with a tough runner. Rebound, Kaialud. Brute strength from Eddie Kaialud.
And the biggest thing we've seen from Kaialud down the stretch, the junior from Paris, France, he's playing a full game now. 33 minutes against Lipscomb, 35 against North Alabama from a player who was really starting to get gassed after the 20-minute mark much of the regular season.
Kaialud is a fan favorite here inside the Ferris Center and on this campus. Quick hands by Olowokere.
Here's Kaialud, just not stopping as he gets the putback. We got a back and forth game going here in the opening round of the A-Sun tournament.
Stetson maintains possession. They've brought in Alex Crawford off the bench, number 24 in the road black uniforms. Johnston, mismatch against Chatham. Takes him to the rack and Chatham erases the shot. Saves it to Cooper. UCA pushing tempo. Rise and fire, it's in. The mid-range jumper from the point guard, Colin Cooper.
And the Bears right back into the lead. Back and forth they go at the 12-minute mark. Crawford for the Hatters, we just saw him enter the game, the freshman from Chula Vista, California. He's been playing more, scored 6 points and had 3 steals in their last game against North Florida.
Jones powering down the lane and the finish. Our third lead change here in the first 8 minutes. Next dead ball sends us to a media timeout. Back and forth we go here in the 3-6 matchup, opening round of the A-Sun tournament. Jackson Baker, he's gone cold the last several games. He's missed 11 of his last 12 threes. That a 15-footer that wouldn't go. And an offensive foul. Bears open the second half on a 17-4 run and led by 18 with 9 minutes to play, but the Hatters rallied back and got it down to a one-possession game with 14 seconds to go. They've been in their zone defense up until now. They come out in the man-to-man. Baker misses a corner three. They're going to wipe off this basket, a foul over the back. It'll be on Ebay Klintman. Third foul on Central Arkansas in the half.
This is Klintman's first action in the last few games, recovering from illness, and he picks up the quick personal foul. He's lanky, 6'8", 200-pound freshman from Sweden, but he plays the point for UCA.
Correction, they called it on Kaialud, his first. A double comes on Jawara, forces it up, and there's Klintman to clear it for Central Arkansas. UCA wants to push tempo. They're the 10th fastest team in college basketball, according to KenPom. They turn it over for the third time tonight, trying to funnel a pass to the interior to Kaialud.
And that's how the Hatters stayed in the previous meeting, even though they got out-rebounded so badly, as Jones' shot is short. They had 11 steals that game.
Offensive rebound, Crawford. That's the first offensive rebound for Stetson, and it leads to their first second chance points. Alex Crawford rattles down the follow-away.
And Stetson badly needs other players to step up. In the last meeting, 6 players scored total for them against UCA. They had no bench points in a game against Liberty just a couple games ago. They need scoring from everyone so the defense doesn't zero in on Chase Johnston.
Stetson's doing a nice job defensively, mixing it up. They're back in their zone. Deep in the clock, Klintman for a three, way off the mark. Kaialud tries to keep it alive. Here comes Tumlin. Tumlin, he can run and jump, and he has it stripped on the Euro step. 3-on-3. Kaialud into a crowd. Olowokere pulls up and drills it. UCA needed that one. They're shooting less than 40% from the field.
Olowokere, sophomore from Brooklyn, New York, coming off a career-high 7 rebounds, logging 39 minutes at North Alabama in a win.
Quick hands. Thievery from Hunter. Hunter to the rim. Tip in, no. And there's Jawara to snatch it away.
All the people down there, no foul. Defense.
Panzo roars in. Lost it. Approaching 9 minutes to go in this first half. Stetson has led most of this first stanza. Jawara. Panzo at three. He's got his second. Weza Panzo. He is a streaky shooter, and Stetson has their largest lead. They push it to 4.
Great ball control by Tumblin underneath. That was a dangerous pass by Panzo into double coverage. Tumblin tips it back out, though, and Panzo knocks down the 3.
As Kyalud misses a baseline jumper, I know that there's still over 8 minutes to go in this first half, but do you sense a little bit of a nervous energy here at the Ferris Center? Central Arkansas hasn't played in a postseason conference tournament game since 2019. Big crowd on deck behind us, but they've been kind of quiet so far.
Well, they're looking for something to get them going. We thought we saw the spark when Kyalud got a basket earlier on a couple of putback attempts. But Stetson just keeps on attacking. And every time Central Arkansas seems to have some momentum, Stetson's hot shooting keeps silencing it. Really, for UCA, you're looking for something on the defensive end to get a stop on the Hatters so you can set up your offense.
Stetson, when you look at their record, they're 11-18 overall, 5-11 in league play, but it's not the whole story. They've had injuries and unforeseen circumstances, and they have some really nice individual talent.
And talent is getting more used to the 5 on the floor. You know, they had a transitional period where they were without Rob Perry, the reigning ASUN Freshman of the Year. They were without Josh Smith, but they've been without those players for a while now.
Jones corner pocket 3 with the shot clock winding down. Nothing but nylon. Stetson hasn't missed from distance. They've been selective with their three-point shooting, and they've started off 3 for 3.
Christian Jones leads the team in rebounding. He's 4th in the conference, but he shoots threes all the time. He's shot 106 on the season.
Darius Hall has his second basket of the game. 5-point lead for Stetson. Screen and flare, nothing develops. Jones, Panzo, finally a miss from distance. Here comes Darius Hall. UCA, they want to run off rebounds. No look pass, knocked away, intercepted by Johnston. Ahead to Jones, Jones denied. Got walled up by 2 defenders. Here comes Cooper. Cooper looking, searching for anybody, and Hunter will slow the tempo.
Boy, how did Cam Hunter not foul going up for that block? The officials say it was clean.
Jones couldn't believe it. Darius Hall's being assertive offensively, lost his balance, playing with a bad shoulder. Lead pass, Crawford.
As Stetson is off to a hot 55% from the field.
And Stetson has really bothered UCA on the other end of the floor. You mentioned defense. They've mixed up their defenses. A lot of zone. They've played some man-to-man out of timeouts. And they will stick with that matchup zone on this trip. They have an 8-point advantage after the free throw from Crawford, their largest of the night. Getting major bench production, and UCA is ice cold. Hunter looking for the Bears' first 3, and they're now 0 of 8 from downtown.
And he pushed that one too hard.
Crawford. Johnston goes baseline. Blocking foul on Cooper. 5th team foul on Central Arkansas issued in this first half, and it's the 2nd on Colin Cooper, and he's their best 3-point shooter.
Cooper has already drawn 2 charges in this game. He thought he drew numbers 3 and 4 on that same possession. One was no whistle at all. That one, the defensive foul against Cooper, and a big second personal foul. He'll come out of the game. Ebay Klimpman getting ready to check back in.
Stetson has an 8-point lead. And their leading scorer for the season, Chase Johnston, who's been on a tear, averaging just under 25 points per game in his last 5. He has only 4 here early on. Other guys picking it up. Jones is hurt.
That was no contact. He received the inbound, immediately went down. Officials blow the whistle and didn't see if they called a travel or just a timeout for the injury. Jones straight to the bench. In pain on that one. And boy, this Stetson team has been hampered by injuries all season. You hate to see that in the opening round of the tournament. Again, he's by himself, and he goes down and immediately clutches the knee.
He's the only senior in the Stetson rotation and has played in 150 career games. That would be a big blow. Had 20 points and 7 rebounds in the first matchup between these two clubs. Averages 13 and 6. Johnston, baseline, hard pass. Swinson deep in the clock. Johnston gets it off, almost hit it. Rebound, out of bounds. Central Arkansas's possession. Down by 8 with under 6 to go in this first half. Central Arkansas really struggling offensively. Just 20 points.
And they look uncomfortable, James. They're hurrying shots. They're putting too much muscle behind them. They've got to settle back down, get those good open looks, and they'll start falling.
You hit the nail on the head. They do not like playing against zones. Hall, can he end the drought from deep? No. And it's one and done. Central Arkansas had 5 offensive rebounds at our first media timeout. They have none since.
Now the Hatters have closed the rebounding gap. Overall now it's just +2 for Central Arkansas.
Swinson. Panzo gets loose and buries it. His third 3. Stetson by double figures.
When you run a trap, when you bring someone over to assist, you've got to cause pressure where you cannot see the open lane for the open man. They're not doing that so far, UCA is not. Stetson's finding the open man, getting clean passes, and getting buckets.
UCA hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes. Hall, double comes. Hunter pulls up, no. Tip and will rattle down for Kyalud. Kyalud has, just last week, he had 19 points and hit 5 of 7 from 3 against Kennesaw State. He's a junior, originally from Canada. Played his senior year of high school at Hamilton Heights Christian Academy in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Swinson tries to tip it to Johnston. Panzo has the rock, and Swinson, the quarterback of this offense, will set up shop with 10 on the timer. Johnston, his 3, wide right. Darius Hall up high for the rebound.
That Weza Panzo, 33 of his 39 field goals on the season are from 3, including the triples that he's hit so far tonight.
Kyalud down low. Hall, power dribble. Klintman still can't pop the lid off the basket. 0 for 10. Has 10 of UCA's 24.
The average single digits through non-conference play is up to now 11.5 on the season, 14.2 points per game in conference play, including a career-high 34 in a game earlier this season against Florida Gulf Coast.
He had a stretch of 4 games where he was averaging over 25 a contest. Stetson by 6 with the ball. Swinson, a 3. It's in! Stetson sticks another. 5 of 8 from downtown.
Beautiful footwork by Swinson there, the sophomore from Brussels, Belgium. He squares up so quick and got that good look. It's not what he always does. That's only his 18th three-pointer he's made this season. That was clutch with the shot clock running down.
Only 30% from downtown. Kyalud blocked. Shot clock at 6. Deep in the timer. Kyalud checks it, spins it. Hall gets it off. Miss. Tip in. Chatham. Stick back, no. And Jawara there to wrestle it away from defenders.
Stetson doesn't give up the putback bucket that time, but they're still giving up way too many offensive rebounds, especially for playing the sort of compact zone that they have. They should be able to box out better than this.
Stetson's been able to limit UCA possessions. Central Arkansas wants this game in the 80s. They're 6-2 this year when they average, or when they score over 80 points. And Swinson heating up for the Hatters. They've matched their largest lead.
He comes in averaging 7 points a game, but you get the feeling that Stephon Swinson could easily average high double figures if he wasn't at the point. But he knows his job is to distribute.
He's averaging 11 per night in his last 7, so he's looking to score a bit more for Stetson as Chatham hoists up an air ball. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Jawara in the post. Throws it up, way off the mark. And there's Klintman to capture the miss.
Following up on that previous point, Swinson, 149 assists, second in the conference, only to Tavian Dunn-Martin, the Florida Gulf Coast.
He's their catalyst. Chatham finds the cutter. Outside Hall. Finally, a three goes down for the Bears. They missed their first 11.
And that gets the crowd to come alive.
Alley-oop slam from Tumlin. The assist, Swinson.
And that quiets him right back down. With authority, the slam from Tumlin. That's how you respond to the first made three by your opponent.
Big steps. Hunter cranks up a three. Out of bounds. Stays on this end with Central Arkansas.
Kayalud got in the air that time, was able to bounce it off Jawara and keep the ball with the Bears. Fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock, a minute 7 to go before half.
Stetson only goes 7 deep. Fatigue has sometimes been a problem for them in the second half of games. They have a comfortable 10-point lead. And another Central Arkansas turnover. That is their 5th. And the 3rd from Hall. Swinson, Jawara, he'll dunk it.
And how
refs swallowing their whistles here in Conway, letting them play.
How was that not an offensive foul? As Stetson loses control of the dribble, player crashes into Darius Hall, clears out the entire floor underneath the paint. No whistle, so easy pickings for the slam to follow it up.
And there's easy pickings for Jared Chatham, who had started just 1 of 5. That's his spot, that short-range jumper from about 10 feet out. Stetson wants a time.
7 points just in that highlight reel.
Final 20 seconds before the break. 10-point lead for the Hatters.
And Swinson's out. That's Giancarlo Valdez running the point.
Johnston has it. Johnston, foul on Darius Hall, 6th foul on the Bears. They had 1 to give.
And not a bad foul. It is Hall's 2nd personal, but with 6 seconds left, it was time to go for the Hatters, and now they have to set everything up again.
Cook is checked in. They've brought in Valdez. Panzo's out on the floor. He's a sharpshooter. Johnston has just 4 points in this first half, number 11 for Stetson. 3 seconds. Johnston leans in, and halftime is here. Has the ball to start the second half, and for UCA, their best shooters weren't the ones shooting threes in the first half. Cameron Hunter shot a team-high 4. Colin Cooper only got 2 off. Leaner from Johnston is a miss. Corner 3. It's in. Johnston's first 3 of the night, and Stetson with just their second chance points field goal of the night.
He was 1 of 5 shooting before that one was Johnston.
Drive and kick. Chatham loads it up. Offensive rebound. Hunter, and he is mugged. It'll be a goaltend, beg your pardon. So count the basket.
And Chatham, who is normally a rebounder, one of the best in the conference, he's out there shooting the 3, atypical of him. And instead is Cameron Hunter, the point guard, coming in, getting another offensive rebound, and the putback counted on the goaltend.
You can see Jawara went through the cylinder, and he has another dunk. Jawara rocks the rim. 13-point lead for Stetson, matches their largest.
On offense, Cameron Hunter can find a way against Jawara. On defense, not so much.
Hunter, that one is way off. UCA's 1 for 15 from downtown, and Hunter 0 of 5. Kayalud faces. Shot clock winding down. 5 seconds. Cooper has to go to work. Floater in the lane, barely scrapes the front of the rim. There's Kayalud, an off-balance putback. Kayalud has 13 tonight to lead UCA, trims it to 11.
Eddie Kayalud's 7th offensive rebound, another putback. He has 13 points. But the Bears trail by 11 as Stetson's hot shooting is carried over into the second half.
Swinson, pick and roll. Wiggles into the lane. Rebound Chatham. On the secondary break, Chatham at the top. 2 minutes into this second half. Kyalud. Johnston with the steal. Swinson hits the trailer. Jones tees it up and rattles it home. 7 of 11 from downtown. Stetson can't miss.
Good to see Christian Jones back in the game. He left with an injury in the first half. Looked like it could have been serious to the knee. He squared up and looked fine on the three.
Kyalud misses a point-blank gimme. Jawara bothers the shot. Stetson in control, up by 14.
So many dangerous shooters out there for the Hatters when everything's going their way. Starting with this guy, Chase Johnston. He's actually had the quiet night.
Long three. UCA just looks like they're in a funk offensively. Cooper, sidestep three, way off. UCA 1 of 16 from downtown. Underneath, Hall, reverse layup, it'll fall. Hall has a quiet 9 tonight.
And we talked about this with Anthony Boone, UCA's head coach, how he loves to play a certain sort of tempo. He never slows down, and he just seemed really bothered by having to do that in the regular season finale against Lipscomb to rest his players. And they seem like they're still a little flat today.
Jawara, another slam. His third dunk. Hall pulls the trigger, wide left. UCA, we touched on this during the pregame, that 4 of their 5 starters have been in and out of the lineup over the last 2 weeks. Now that they're all together, maybe they just look a little out of sync. Swinson a three. Rebound secured by Hunter. Head on a swivel.
You can see it in the body language the last few times down the floor. Heads are hanging as shots aren't falling.
Hall shortens his jumper. Rebound Jawara.
Cameron Hunter in particular, the freshman from Bryant, the ASUN freshman of the year. He's just a step slow coming back down the floor.
Swinson trying to muscle his way underneath.
Lou Jones in his 3rd season with the team. He has had postseason success that has outperformed his regular season mark each of his seasons with this team.
And keep in mind, he was an assistant coach as Jawara lost it on the way up at Florida with the Gators during their back-to-back national championships with those NOAA teams. They had Corey Brewer on those clubs. Central Arkansas tries the lob. Hall lost it out of bounds, and it goes back to Stetson.
You know, back in last season's conference tournament, it was Stetson coming in as a low seed, a 7 seed, knocking off 2 seed Bellarmine in the first round. It was just an 8-team tournament last season. In that 2021 season, they also got their first Division I postseason win in the CBI, upsetting Bowling Green. So they are used to this. This is their 28th ASUN tournament as a program. They're used to postseason play, and they have clearly stepped it up so far in this one.
Christian Jones on the move. Corner three, Tumlin. That one barely nicks the side rim, but Chatham almost lost it out of bounds. They will say last touched by a Hatter. So Central Arkansas has the ball, down by 14. UCA did go on a 17-4 run the first time these two teams met. But for the most part, Central Arkansas has not been a team that rallies back this season.
Well, they haven't been in a position quite like this that often. They've played close games all season.
They have the home crowd behind them, but they've been quiet. Hunter, Hall, stick back, swirls home. Hunter is now 2 of 11 from the field. That was a point-blank shot for him. That's where he wants to get his looks.
Yeah, Hall shooting his mini threes. He's attempted 4 3-pointers today, and he's got the only make, but that's not his shot.
Stetson has taken UCA out of their roles offensively. Tumlin trying to tightrope. He steps out of bounds. Goes back to Central Arkansas.
But almost the same thing happened that's been happening all ball game for Central Arkansas. Eddie Kyalud was coming over for the assist, but there's a clear passing lane. And so the ball gets to Tumlin, no problem. Kyalud had to be quick to get back, and he caused the freshman to hesitate just long enough to get him out of sync, and he stepped on the baseline.
Chatham Rebound on the backside, Jones. Stetson hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes, but still lead by 12. Still time for a comeback. Swenson, Johnston, he has 7. He can fill it up in a hurry. Blocked at the iron. It'll stay on this end with Stetson. Kyalud erases the shot.
Eddie Kyalud doing everything on the interior as the home fans chant Eddie for the junior from Paris, France. He swats Johnston, who continues to have a tough day finding baskets.
Eddie's post-game radio interview went viral after he had a 34-point and 17-rebound effort against Florida Gulf Coast, and he did it on Women in Sports Day. And that's where he said he drew his inspiration from to go out and play like that in his post-game interview. Stetson miss. No look underneath, and Kyalud scoops it in. He's up to 15. Kyalud doing his job tonight.
And Cam Hunter with the assist, showing you that junior or even senior vision that Coach Anthony Boone has spoken of for the freshman.
Cameron Hunter was named ASUN Freshman of the Year earlier today. He's not scoring, but let's see if he can spearhead this comeback. A 3 from Jones. He sticks a triple. His 3rd 3. He's perfect from downtown tonight.
Has a dagger from the 32% three-point shooter on the year. Not afraid to put him up in volume.
Hunter doesn't get the bounce. Going to the line to shoot 2. And frustrations mounting for the star guard from nearby Bryant, Arkansas.
You know, as the season awards were announced today in the ASUN, I think there were 2 that there weren't a lot of surprises about. As you see Hunter, there's the contact that draws the foul. Cameron Hunter is Freshman of the Year. The obvious choice. He outpaced the rest of the conference by a great deal. And Darius McGee wins his 2nd straight ASUN Player of the Year. His performance against Central Arkansas and Stetson, quite honestly, might have sealed that for him.
Cam didn't play on Saturday. They rested him. Central Arkansas has only attempted 6 free throws in this game. They're 5 for 6 as a club. They're letting them play here in Conway, Arkansas. Kyalud gets a rest on the bench for Central Arkansas.
And it makes fans unhappy occasionally when the home fans don't get a call. But, James, you and I have talked about this all season. The officials have swallowed the whistles across college basketball, and it has improved the product tenfold. The action is picked up. The pace is quick. Fewer free throws have been a good thing.
This season, there's been less than 17 combined fouls called per game as the Baby J goes for Jawara. That's the fewest fouls all time in college basketball per contest. Underneath, Chatham gets loose, uncontested on the catch, and he's going to the line to shoot 2.
Jawara will pick up the personal, just his 2nd. And Chatham has had a relatively quiet game, 4 points on just 2 of 8 shooting. He's brought down 9 rebounds, but most of his have been on the defensive end.
Chatham has scored in double figures in 8 of his last 9. Look at those numbers over the last month, almost 17 points per game. And he's a super senior for Central Arkansas.
His story so inspiring. From Los Angeles, California. He said, if not for this basketball program, that he could be on the streets right now. And given an extra year of eligibility, it was an easy decision for him. He absolutely wanted to come back and keep playing for his teammates, and he's had his best season as a Bear.
He's taking care of business in the classroom, and he's trying to keep his playing career alive. This could be it if UCA falls. Opening round of the ASUN tournament. 12 minutes to go. Swenson, he's a blur, and he flies by Baker. Stetson by a baker's dozen.
Swenson continues his scoring burst against Central Arkansas, as now he's in double figures.
Trying to whip it out on the arc, haul of
rebounds. Christian Jones, meanwhile, normally a rebounding threat for Stetson primarily. He's got 6 boards, but he's put down 13 points, including some clutch 3-pointers.
Swenson, a rare turnover. Miscue number 7 on the Hatters.
Looking at the stats so far, more of the same from the first half. Stetson's cooled down a little bit. They're only shooting 50% from three in this half. Central Arkansas, though, 5 of 14, right back at 35% shooting from the field, and they're 0 of 4 from three-point range. This is against a Stetson defense, James, that is 10th in the conference in three-point shooting for their opponents. UCA just has not been able to get the looks.
And even though they turned it over on that last trip, it was only their 7th for the game, well below their season average. And head coach Donnie Jones told us that's a major point of emphasis. They have to take better care of the ball in the postseason. Baker's threes off the attachment, and Baker's missed 13 of his last 14 threes dating back to the last 3 games.
A couple of shooters as you look at why Central Arkansas might be struggling as much as they are. Jackson Baker, for much of the season, was the guy who could come off the bench and hit that big three to get the home crowd back into the game. Also, Masai Oluwakari has gone ice cold from three-point land.
Baker flicks the wrist, hits that one. The dead eye from Jackson Baker, and the crowd is alive. It's a 10-point lead for Stetson.
Pressure now from UCA.
Bears trying to speed up this Hatters team. They've had ice in their veins all night long. They have led for 80% of the game. Swinson nearly lost it. Penzo, he's been on fire, and it continues. His 4th three, 4 of 5 tonight. Lead pass, baseball ahead. Chatham is shoved out of bounds. It'll be a foul on Stetson.
And that's Penzo, who just hit the big three, picks up his first personal on the other end of the floor. Every time Central Arkansas looks like they might be building some momentum, getting this crowd into it, Stetson hits a dagger of a three. It was Jones a moment ago. This time it's Penzo. There's the contact on the other end as he bumps into Chatham. But with that three-point shooting, boy, it's just tough to come back, especially when you're not hitting the shot that's worth more points.
Klintman whips it to Hunter. 10.5 to go. Cooper loads it up. Baker, tip in, yes. Acrobatic tap in from Baker off the bench. He's providing a lift in this second half.
Get up there, young man. Baker with some air that time to put it back in. He scored only 3 points against Stetson last time they met. He's got 5 just in the past minute or so.
He doesn't love the play around the rim, but that was full extension. UCA trying to wrench it loose out of bounds. Stays with Stetson. 11-point game, 10-10 to go.
There's Baker, fully outstretched, and bounces it off the glass.
Timed that perfectly. Swinson having trouble getting it inbounded, so he throws it off the midsection of Klintman and out of bounds. Stetson led by 10 at the break. They're +1 here in this second half. Chuck it up high to Crawford. Down to 10 to shoot. Johnston checks the clock. Crosses over. Lost it. Klintman has it. Swinson trying to force a tie-up. Crosses his arms. And leans into Klintman. Much to the dismay of this home crowd.
A tie ball with the back that time as he laid back over, but he was laying on the ball, not on Klintman. Here's the steal. Cam Hunter, one of the conference leaders in steals, and yeah, there's Swinson just gonna take a brief rest.
Cooper throws it away. Errant pass. Trying to get it to Kaialu, their leading scorer tonight.
Different lineup on the floor for Central Arkansas. These are the guys who shoot the threes. Baker, Klintman, Hunter, and Cooper with just Kaialu underneath as a big.
Swinson gets a hard screen. It's an illegal screen and the 9th turnover on Stetson. That's their 5th foul of the half.
Yeah, that's about as obvious as it gets. Johnston shoving his man out of the way, draws the foul. It's his 2nd.
See if Central Arkansas gets a little more aggressive defensively. They haven't been called for a foul in this second half. Baker feeling it. Johnston clears. Boy, he wanted that one.
And UCA making no bones about it with their personnel. They don't care how poorly they've shot the three today. They've got the ones out there on the floor who want to put it in because they know they need that bucket that's worth the extra point if they're going to come back.
Swinson drops it off the table. Jawara held, tie up. Arrow favors the Hatters. It stays on this end.
but this will be the trade-off. UCA, as small inside as they've been all game, means the Hatters can finally take advantage of some of their bigs on the inside, like Jawara. Also watch out for Alvin Tumblin. When he gets in there, he can be a difference maker. But right now it's Jawara.
What do you think of UCA's defense this half? Like I said, they haven't been slapped for a foul. Swinson a fall away, in and out. Kaialud claims it. Here comes Hunter. Full head of steam. Big steps. Bucket, no. But he's fouled, and he's going to the line to shoot two. Sixth team foul on Stetson here in this period.
Hunter always looking for a little something extra. He pounds the floor after going down. Double team Swinson and Jawara, and it's Jawara who makes the contact for his third personal foul. You know, if you're looking for defensive plays, again, you look to the freshman. Cameron Hunter's been the one to do that. Third in the conference in steals. He had one just a moment ago. But he has just 7 points tonight. Only half of his season total, or season average.
UCA has held Stetson scoreless for about 2 minutes now. A minute 56.
But you look around, and Christian Jones has hit his last 3 shots. Weza Panzo has hit 4 of his last 5. There's just too many hot shooters on the floor all over for the Hatters.
They've had some open looks. They've also hit some tough ones. It's a single-digit difference. Still time, 8.5 to go. Johnston trying to get open. Swinson will dump some clock. Swinson, the quarterback. Pocket pass. Tumblin throws it down. Swinson, a dime. Cooper loads it up, drills it. That's big for Central Arkansas.
That's the answer they needed. And Cameron Hunter, the point guard, is still holding up 3 fingers right in the face of Swinson as the opposing point guard comes out. UCA still playing with a chip on their shoulder as they try to answer back.
Last time down was Swinson, this guy's 10th assist of the night. Down to 10 again on the timer. Against Hunter, pulls the trigger, it's a 3. Too strong, Oluwakari's entered the lineup for UCA. Oluwakari coasting ahead. Cooper, he wanted that 3. Hall, he'll take it. Won't hit it. Oluwakari nudges it up and in. 6-point lead for Stetson.
That's as if they have 18 offensive rebounds that have led to 26 second chance points. That's why they're still in this, despite shooting 36% and 3 for 23 from 3.
Stetson's ball. This 9-2 run for UCA, 6 of those 9 coming from the bench. Johnston building, but there was still energy. The crowd is into it now.
They are, and they've been a big factor for why the Central Arkansas team has been so good at home. 7-4 in this building this season. You know, we talked about throughout the broadcast how Central Arkansas might be a little flat after kind of resting in the regular season finale for the first time all season. For Stetson, are they starting to think about that 5-game losing streak when honestly they have not played bad? They just keep having games like this where it slips away from them. Any part of them thinking, oh no, here we go again?
8-point lead for the Hatters after the free throws from Johnston. 3, Cooper! Picture perfect! His first 3 of the night. UCA now 3 of 11 in this second half, which, believe it or not, is much better than they shot it in the first half from downtown.
But 3 of their last 5, more importantly.
And a steal. Cooper to the rim. Flips it in. Central Arkansas trimmed it to a 1-possession game.
The ankle looks fine. We were worried about Colin Cooper. He suffered it in the first minute of the North Alabama game. But he looks in tip-top shape right now.
Foul on Darius Hall. And you said just a moment ago, interesting strategy by Coach Boone and this staff to rest some guys, most notably Cameron Hunter in that game Saturday as Cooper on the rim run, able to finish. Maybe it took this team a half or so to kind of get their groove back.
You could tell talking to Coach Anthony Boone that he knew he had to do it. His players had just been playing really heavy minutes, and they needed the rest with a game that essentially didn't mean anything as far as seeding was concerned. As we see the foul, and the crowd reacts as Kaialu's going to pick up a personal, is that we had to do it, but he hated to stop the tempo this team had built. And you did see him look a little sluggish and take some unusual shots in the first half. There's the underhanded shot that draws the contact. Kaialu can't believe it, as Johnston's going to go to the free throw line.
Johnston will be in double figures if he can hit one. Second team All-League announced earlier today for the second year in a row. By his standards, he has not had a great game offensively, just 2 of 10 shooting. That's his second miss from the free throw line. He's now 4 of 6 from the stripe and coming in 82%. Splits the pair. Pushes the lead back to 2 possessions.
Johnston's had 3 straight 20-plus point games. He's going to have to get it going down the stretch if he's going to extend that to 4.
Central Arkansas, they've been in attack mode here in the second half. Oluwakere, that's a long 2. Doesn't get the bounce. Kaialu, he has a double-double. 17 and 11.
My goodness. And that's his 8th offensive rebound.
The second chance points, 28-5. Deep one from Johnston. Way off the mark. He can make those. Cooper able to corral the rebound as he digs it out. Cooper loads it up. It's good! Central Arkansas making a couple of threes. The defense is picked up. They're dominating the glass, out-rebounding Stetson 41-25. Swinson. Johnston, the all-league guard, sails in, tough shot, tap out, secured by Jones. Giara trying to work his way across the paint, and he's fouled. They call it on Oluwakere, and will shoot 2.
And that's a big change. Initially on the board, that was attributed to Kaialu. Would have been his 3rd. Instead, it's Oluwakere's 1st. And Darius Hall remains the only Bear with 3 personal fouls. Meanwhile, Panzo and Jawara both have 3 for Stetson.
Jawara is the highest rated recruit to ever sign with Stetson. He was a 4-star top 200 player by ESPN out of high school. Knots the score at 66. How big has it been for Central Arkansas to have Colin Cooper on the floor? Not only is he making shots, but just to have him out there in this second half. He picked up 2 early fouls and only played 10 minutes in the first half.
You weren't sure how much he was going to be able to play at all, how the ankle was going to hold up. The ankle has been fine. It was the foul trouble that slowed him down in the first half. He has been huge as part of this second half comeback. You know, we mentioned the rebounding earlier as the free throw is good. This Stetson team, they don't get out-rebounded like this. They have a positive rebounding margin for the season, and generally, as goes the rebounding margin, so goes the Hatters. When they fall behind like this, normally they lose big, but they have been shooting lights out, and it's what's keeping them in the game.
They're starting to cool off as they wear down here in the late stages. 1-point lead for the Hatters. Central Arkansas can grab it right back. Hunter out of bounds. It'll stay with UCA. They will give Jawara credit with the block. 7 to shoot for UCA.
Jawara's 11th block of the season. But that looked like a lot of arm. Cam Hunter doesn't get the call. Hasn't been a lot of whistles either way in this one. There's just 7 on the shot clock for UCA as Hunter will inbound, and he's still jawing a little bit as he gets ready to inbound from underneath the basket.
He has a team-high 6 assists. The lob to Darius Hall. Back to Hunter against Jawara. Hunter throws it up. Jawara there to alter the shot, and it's a shot clock violation. Stetson basketball.
That was a bang-bang as Jones was going out of bounds, trying to stay on the baseline as the shot clock hit 0. The shot clock violation gives it to Stetson, and they'll wave off some light Central Arkansas pressure.
Anthony Boone has been more animated from the head of the UCA bench tonight than normal. Here's Swinson out front, the facilitator. Johnston. 4 minutes to go. Stetson by a point. They've led by as many as 14. Jones dashes baseline, lost his footing.
Up from 34% in the first half to 45, which is closer to their season average. And they have hit some big shots, including some from beyond the arc. It is a one-point game, and as we went into that last timeout, tensions are running high with a lot on the line in this one.
Central Arkansas scores 85 a night at home. You knew they weren't going to stay cold for long. Hunter lost it as it wrestled away by Swinson.
Every possession magnified. Big turnover there by the Bears to give the ball back to Stetson, nursing a one-point lead.
That was the 10th Central Arkansas turnover. Down to 10 to shoot. Swinson has the four-man Chatham on him. Swinson, fall away, an air ball. Hall, he can fly. Darius fuels the break. Cooper, corner three, string music. Fourth three of the night for the sophomore.
And that was a pass by Hall that didn't have as much force as he wanted. It may have been tipped. Cooper had to slide all the way into the corner to find space for the shot, and he still got it to go.
Down low, Johnston lays it in. Able to knife through. All tied at 69.
Been a tough night for Johnston, only his third field goal, but it comes at a big time as he now has 12 points.
Central Arkansas on an extended run of 18-5, and they've made 4 of 5 from 3 during this stretch. Level at 69. Hall trying to corkscrew. Hall, big step. Hall with the finish. Gives UCA a 2-point lead.
How many moves from Darius Hall, the junior transfer from Arkansas? He's been bothered by the shoulder, but he looked fine there. It took 3 or 4 moves to get by Jawara, and Hall made them all.
Johnston stepped out of bounds on the catch. That's his 4th turnover tonight. He has 12 points, but he's 3 of 13 from the field and 1 of 6 from 3.
But Hall loses the handle, goes left, goes right, back to the left, and bounces it off the glass. Darius Hall has 13 points on 6 of 13 shooting. This is the best he's looked in many weeks, coming at just the right time as the Bears look to make their Cinderella season continue with a run in the conference tournament.
Central Arkansas has been Johnston's kryptonite. Kyalud has 17 points for UCA. Cooper, another 3. Swinson there to secure it on the backside.
Johnston was on him that time. Better defense from Stetson on the outside. Will that open up the interior game for Central Arkansas? They've been waiting for that all game.
Central Arkansas has outscored Stetson by 12 in the second half and make it 10 as Stetson Swinson knocks it down. Tied again, this time at 71.
Yeah, the Stetson defense is loosened up. They're playing more on the perimeter.
Paul, Kyalud, Chatham in a crowd. Panzo pulls it out of a pack. A minute left here in Conway, Arkansas. Opening round action of the A-Sun tournament. Possession arrow favors Stetson if there's a jump ball. Swinson at the helm against Kyalud. Jawara, mismatch. He's got Hunter on him. Hall grabs the rim. We have a foul underneath. Hall was hanging on the net.
But the ball was still in play. Which came first? The officials are going to huddle. They're going to call a foul on Cameron Hunter before Hall grabbed the rim, and that's honestly the best case scenario for Central Arkansas. If you're hanging on the rim in the middle of play, that's a technical foul. There's Hall, but they call the foul just before that. So it'll be a floor foul, and the Bears dodge one.
Only the 5th foul on Central Arkansas. Swinson, they had him trapped in the corner if they want. Works upward between the circles. 8 to shoot. Swinson probing, exploring. Swinson with 3, has to put it up, and he delivers a big shot from the PG. 2-point lead for Stetson. Timeout Central Arkansas.
Here in what in all likelihood, win or lose, will be the final home game of the season.
20 seconds left. Cameron Hunter, the A-Sun freshman of the year. Cooper for the lead. Yes! 9 seconds left. 7 seconds. Swinson leads in. Stop.
These fans are about to be treated to one heck of a final play.
2.4 left. Inbound Jones. Jones is fouled with point.
Auburn Gatoretsy is in to try to put the tip back in if the free throw's no good.
Jones' second one. Airborne. He missed it. Tip in, no. UCA wins.